What's up, everybody? I am back with another video from the Fat Files. This one talking about Colonel Sanders and KFC. So I am very interested in see what he found out about this company. So before I continue, please do me a huge favor and check out the Fat Files and subscribe to his channel. Check it out. I really love his take and deep dives, as well as check out my channel, my Twitch and YouTube channel, as I stream games, react to videos, as well as review content. So without further ado, messed up right there. So without further ado, let's check out Anger Issues and Fried Chicken, the life of Colonel Sanders.
That is going to prepare you for how crazy this story actually is. Today we're talking about Colonel Sanders, yes, the KFC guy. Okay, according to a 2010 study, only 40% of Americans between the ages of 19 and 25 knew that Colonel Sanders was a real person, and even less people know that he was a complete gangster his entire life. Okay, most people don't realize this, but the sweet elderly Southern gentleman from the KFC logo didn't start selling Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was 66 years old. Prior to that, he had done every job under the sun. He worked for the railroad. He used to be a lawyer until he lost his law license for beating up his own clients in open court. He used to be involved in turf wars with bootleggers and oil companies during the Great Depression. He has been in, won, and is undefeated in gunfights. He is a notorious adulterer that once bragged that he was still getting laid at 83 years old. This dude cussed so much that KFC had to heavily edit every TV and radio ad spot he ever did.
Go f yourself, San Diego. Nice work, everyone.
And I could keep going, but we're going to cover all of it in the story right after a word from our sponsor.
Delete me. Can you settle a debate?
What? Which 9 mils better?
Yeah.
Neither. There's a third option.
Oh. Didn't know you were packing.
No respect for the classics. All right, here's the deal. Super simple, straightforward business model. You give them money, they turn around and make sure the data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information. What does that even mean? Okay, here's the entire internet and every free service on the planet inside of a nutshell. Okay, there's a saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. What that means is pretty much anything on the internet that you use, that's a service, whether that be Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of it. Okay, it's all an app. So one of two things is happening. They're either going to feed you ads, and that's how that company makes money since their service is free, or they're going to collect your personal information, then turn around and sell it to data brokers on the internet, and then they're going to turn around and sell it to whoever buys it. And next thing you know, you're getting 17,000 robocalls every single day. And that's where Delete Me comes in. They will look through all the major data brokers and find the ones that are selling. I'll have a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. Our story begins on September 9th, 1890 in Henryville, Indiana, when a young Harlan Sanders is born on a farm. He is the oldest of 3 siblings, and like pretty much every other story I've ever told of somebody that was born in the 18 or 1900s, he had a really rough childhood with a lot of manual labor. Just wasn't a good time all around. At the age of 5 years old, his father passes away, and his mother has to step up and be the breadwinner for the whole family, so she's always gone working at a factory in town, and 5-year-old Harlan basically has to raise his younger siblings by himself, literally starts cooking all the food for the family at 5 years old. Fast forward, he's 12 years old. Harlan's mother finds a new husband. They get married. Harlan and the stepdad do not get along whatsoever. Shortly after this, he leaves home at the age of 12. For the next 4 years, he just kind of bums around the area, working on farms, doing manual labor jobs, and then at the age of 16, he falsifies his birth certificate to join the army, gets in, deploys to Cuba, serves his entire enlistment, and then comes back home. While in the army, he picks up the habit of, as he puts,
Kind of like the originator of Chick-fil-A. Almost like went off the war, came back, decided to run like a chicken joint.
cussing like a sailor, using excessive profanity. People later in his life said he couldn't go a single sentence without including the term goddamn. In his own autobiography, he said, and I quote, "I used to cuss the prettiest you ever heard." So 18 years old, goes back home.
Really quick, that guy from The Office. What?
Later in his life said he couldn't go a single sentence without including the term goddamn.
That guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Well, he's a good character actor. If there was a Colonel Sanders biopic with makeup, you can make him look like it, but it's just his vocal cadence that screams, because I think he's from Chicago. It's just his, the way he speaks gives Colonel Sanders. I can buy him as Colonel Sanders.
In In his own autobiography, he said, and I quote, "I used to cuss the prettiest you ever heard." So 18 years old, goes back home, gets a job with the railroad, starts traveling all over the country, working for the railroad. While he's on the road, he meets a woman by the name of Josephine King. They wind up getting married, start having kids. So Josephine's back home with the kids. He's still working with the railroad. Obviously, he's gone a lot. And while he's gone, he decides he's going to cheat on his wife, like a lot, or as he referred to it as tomcatting. So he's going all over the country just slinging, which is foreshadowing at its finest. Okay, not great, but that's what happened, and it also gets worse. He also got fired from different jobs at different railroads a lot. Sometimes he was working for the railroad, sometimes he was like a traveling door-to-door salesman. He just kept bouncing from job to job to job because he had a humongous anger problem and was always getting in fistfights and beating the shit out of people.
That is correct. The medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is where anger, jealousy, and aggression come from.
After a while, his wife Josephine, understandably so, is fed up with his shit, and she decides while he's on the road, she's gonna leave him. He's lost his job too many times, he's cheating on her, she's out. She gives up the house, she sells all the furniture, she takes the kids, and moves back home with her parents. And Harland is awkwardly pissed off about the furniture. Like, he's mad about the kids too, but he's very upset about the furniture for some reason. Like, in his autobiography, he says, and I quote, "That hurt me. I figured she didn't have any right to take my children or give away my furniture." He is equally as concerned about the furniture as he is about the kids, which I don't understand, but whatever. And it's probably because the furniture is gone. She gave it away. There's nothing he can ever do to get his precious furniture back. The kids, on the other hand, she still has the kids. They're at Grandma and Grandpa's house living with Josephine. He could still do something about that. So like a rational adult, he decides he's gonna go to court and fight for custody of his kids. No, I'm just kidding. He concocts a plan where he's going to go wait in the woods outside of Grandma and Grandpa's house, and he's going to kidnap the kids.
That's a terrible idea.
Again, in his own words, although I didn't consider it rightly kidnapping since they was mine. So he heads over to Grandma and Grandpa's house, hiding in the woods in a pile of...
Of course, they changed that law really fast. But yeah, not that I'm advocating with the whole cheating thing. Obviously, that's terrible. In my personal opinion, if you... No, this is before his whole KFC empire, mind you. But you should, like, you know, at the very least, in my personal opinion, let the girl know what it is. Okay? And let her decide whether or not she want to stay with you. Because, you know, you shouldn't have to freaking lie. Okay? If she's, you know, understand the dynamics of what's going to happen within the relationship, then leave it up to her to decide if she wants to partake in it or not. You didn't, like, you know, give that. So understandably, she is pissed. As, like, you know, like, understandably, she'll, like, take the kids. Don't understand why she felt the need to, like, try to stick it to him by selling his furniture. Because just, you know, just take the kids and left it at that. But yeah, you know, the guy, you know, yeah, he definitely has serious issues. Did not know anything about Colonel Sanders like that, and I didn't know he was like was slinging it like that. Maybe he just like had that, you know, big D energy of his time, because I'm not sure like how he looked in his like 20s and 30s back in the day. And of course, people's 30s back in the day isn't like people's 30s of now, because people's 30s back in the day, they might as well be like 50.
Leaves, waiting for the kids to come outside to play. He's then going to snatch up the kids, take them to the train station, and bounce. This is the early 1900s. They're never going to catch him. So he's out in the woods, laying in this pile of leaves, waiting for the kids to come out to play, and he's just waiting, and he's waiting, and then eventually the sun comes up. It's Kentucky. It's summertime. It starts getting hot. He starts getting sweaty. There's flies buzzing around, and after hours of waiting, the kids still haven't come out. He's like, okay, this isn't going to fucking work. So he decides he's just going to go up to the door and knock. Goes up to the door, knocks on the door. His father-in-law answers the door and just says, "Howdy, Harlan," and invites him in because, you know, it's the father of his children. Why wouldn't you do that? He has no idea the guy was just planning to kidnap his grandkids. Harlan, his father, and Josephine then proceed to sit down in the living room and have awkward small talk for a little while. And he like just gets up eventually and is like, I guess I'm gonna go. And Josephine is like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "I found a new job in Illinois working for the rail company. I'm gonna head out there." And she goes, "No, I think you better stay with me." And that was it. They stayed married for another 37 years. Now he's got his family back, I guess.
Oh, okay.
You had me going there for the first part. The second half kind of threw me.
Absolutely zero life lessons learned, keeps cussing, keeps fighting, keeps cheating on his wife, goes back to working for the railroad. Eventually, he decides he wants to better himself, he wants to get a better career, make more money for his family, the whole 9 yards, so he starts studying to become a lawyer via correspondence, basically taking college classes through the mail. Think of it as like antique version of online schooling. That's what he does. Winds up studying to become a lawyer through correspondence, passes the bar, and becomes a lawyer. Does that for a little while, has a pretty successful law career spooling up, and then one day...
Okay, so that's what he looked like back in a... So that is a young-ish Colonel Sanders. God, he kind of reminds me of an actor. He's a character actor. He usually plays villains. I can't think of a movie off the top of my head because I have his face in my mind. I just can't picture like a movie he's in that could give like a good comparison. Golly, it's like, you know, I can't think of the movie, a good example of the movie he was in, because it's like one day I'll come across that movie and it's like, that's it, and it'll be way too late to bring it up because this video will be done.
Up, and then one day in open court, his temper gets the better of him.
The medulla oblongata.
We don't know the exact context of what happened, but every account of what happened has a chair involved. Some accounts say that his own client attacked him with a chair. Some accounts say it was the other way around and he beat the shit out of his client with a chair. Either way, he turned the open courtroom into a WWE match.
We know you love the thought of sitting in a Parisian cafe.
Or exploring the beautiful city of Rome.
Because of this, he obviously loses his law license and goes back to job hopping. So he's a door-to-door salesman for insurance, and then after that, he decides he wants to be an entrepreneur, so he spools up an illegal ferrying operation across the Ohio River. The police eventually put a kibosh to that, so then he goes to work for Michelin Tire, being a tire salesman. And finally, that goes good. That's going great. The dude can sell tires like a motherfucker. He works his way up from being a salesman to like the regional director for the entire tri-state area that he's in, and he's like one of the big wigs at Michelin Tire. But then, karma finally catches up to him, and we kick off the lifelong saga of karma desperately trying to put Harlan Sanders, this madman, in his place, and Harlan Sanders just adamantly refusing. One day, he's driving his Model T with Michelin tires across the bridge, and the fucking bridge collapses, totaling his car. And at this point in time, he doesn't have enough money to buy a new car, so Michelin Tires fires him because you can't work for Michelin Tires as a tire salesman if you're not using Michelin tires, which is kind of fucked up, but also, like, there's no Amish electricians, so I get it.
Oh, right, because I'm Amish, so I wouldn't know anything about your 69 GTO Judge. 455 big block Ram Air, 411 Posse, something like that? Weird, that thing must have fallen straight from space. Well, good luck with the future ride, spaceman.
So he takes what money he does have and he starts a acetylene lamp business. Gotta remember, this is like 1820s. Not everybody has electricity in their house with light bulbs, so people are using these little gas lamps to, you know, put on the table to be able to see at night. He starts a business making those. Very quickly, electricity becomes readily available, puts him out of business. Karma is just trying to shut this guy down. So he decides, all right, I'm gonna have to go to the next big town over. I'm gonna have to go get a job, don't have a car, I'm broke. So he hitchhikes to Louisville, Kentucky, and the first car to pick him up tells him his life story, and the guy's like, I actually own a gas station and I'm looking for somebody to run it for me. You think you can do it? And Harlan Sanders is like, sure, why not? So he takes over this gas station, starts running it. Somewhere along the line, he comes up with the idea of like, hey, I could be more competitive and I could get all the business from all the truckers if I start selling food at my gas station. So he already likes cooking food, and that's what he does. He starts making food, selling it at his gas station, and then he gets all the trucker business as well. The gas station is outrageously successful. Karma kicks in again. The Great Depression happens, shuts this small gas station down, puts him out of business. From here, Shell Oil Company reaches out to him and is like, hey, we knew you were super successful at running this other gas station in a small town in Kentucky. We have another gas station that's right on the main highway that's going to be able to stay open during the Great Depression because it gets all this traffic from the highway. We want you to run it. Harlan Sanders takes the job. So he moves out to Corbin, Kentucky, where this gas station is, and this place is super ghetto. It's literally nicknamed Hell's Half Acre. You gotta remember, this is the Great Depression. Everybody's poor. Poor people commit crime to feed their kids. So you got that going on. On top of that, you've got Prohibition. This is right by the highway. All the bootleggers are running their booze through this area. There's all kinds of crime. So he takes over this gas station, starts selling gas, starts selling food, but he needs people to know that there's food around, so he starts putting up signs and everything saying like, hey, we're a gas station that also serves food. This is Kentucky in like 1930 whatever the fuck, and people just love shooting at signs, I guess, and it gets so bad that you can't even read the signs because there's so many bullet holes in them. So he comes up with an alternative idea of he goes to all of the farmers in like a 50-mile radius and pays them to be able to paint a big advertisement on the side of their barn, because people aren't going to be shooting at a farmer's barn because they could hit somebody or hit an animal, or a farmer's going going to come out with a shotgun and fucking shoot you back. And it's a brilliant idea, and it's working really, really good. And it starts cutting into the other rival gas station's business, and that gas station is owned by a guy by the name of Matt Stewart, and he's pissed off about it. So he goes around and starts painting over Harlan's barn signs. Harlan finds out about this, so like an adult with a cool, rational head, goes over to Stewart's gas station and very politely tells him to stop.
I'm sorry, this is gonna freaking bother me. Golly, where's that actor? Sorry, let me see if I can type it in, like, yeah, I can come across him. Golly. Trying to, like, I know the face. Golly, man. So annoying. It's such a maybe I gotta put on a TikTok or talking the next week. Sorry, it's just literally bothering me. Like I see the face,
and I quote, like "I'll blow your fucking head off." Wow. Okay, Harlan Sanders is not going to tolerate people messing with his money.
Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions.
A couple weeks later, Harlan's got a big day. Some Shell oil executives, 2 of them, are coming to town to have a meeting with
the movie, like certain movies he's in. It's just so random. I can't think of a movie off the top of my head because I can see his face.
Harlan about how well his gas station is performing, and while they're sitting in the gas station having a meeting, talking about how great of a job Harlan's doing, one of the employees comes in and lets him know, hey, Matt Stewart is out on the side of the road right now painting over one of your advertisements on farmer so-and-so's barn. At which point, Harlan says, I told that motherfucker what I was going to do, so he grabs his gun. The Shell oil executives also grab guns, and they go out and confront Matt Stewart. As soon as they get out of the car, Matt Stewart draws a gun, fires at them, killing one of the Shell oil executives, to which Harlan Sanders then shoots him in the shoulder, drops him on the ground, disarms him, and waits for the police to come arrest him. Harlan is found innocent because it was self-defense, and Matt Stewart now gets convicted of murder and would later be assassinated in prison.
Hey, something wrong with his medulla oblongata.
And from here, Harlan Sanders is not shy about using a firearm to get his way. There's another account where bootleggers were trying trying to siphon gas out of his pumps in the middle of the night, and he runs out in nothing but his underwear and confronts them and holds them at gunpoint until the sheriff shows up to arrest them. This goes on for a while, very successful gas station. Eventually, Harlan ends up owning the gas station himself, at which point he kicks it into overdrive. Now he's going around tearing down signs from the competition and putting up his own signs instead. The exact thing that he was pissed off at doing, but now he's going to do it to other people. And then, just like what happened with him, one of the other rival gas station owners runs out to confront him, at which point he pulls out a gun and tells him to get back in their fucking car. And they do.
The medulla oblongata.
So as you can see, through a combination of great food and gun violence, Harlan Sanders becomes the most successful gas station in the area, which is the most southern thing that's ever happened, ever. And by 1939, he's making more money from food than he is from selling gas, so he decides he's just gonna sell more food and quit selling gas, and he opens up a 140-seat restaurant and then eventually expands that business to have a motel right next door as well. Now, the problem he runs into here is being able to cook food at the standard that he likes to cook food at in the quantity that this restaurant is now demanding, and the big problem he has is with the fried chicken. Everybody loves his fried chicken. He's got a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices. Everybody loves it, but the problem is real fried chicken is cooked in boiling grease on a skillet over the stove, and you just can't cook it very fast. It takes too long, you can't make bulk batches, and the wait times at the restaurant is just taking forever. So he develops a way to cook fried chicken inside of a pressure cooker, which still makes it taste way better than if you deep fry it. And this takes the cook time on his fried chicken from like 30 plus minutes down to 7 or 8 minutes. So he's got that figured out, things are going great, he's got his new restaurant, his new motel right in 1939, and then karma steps in to try to shut him down again. 1939, World War II kicks off for America, and all of a sudden, America is now rationing rubber and gas, meaning less people are traveling, and his entire business is built right on the highway and relies on highway travelers, so he's not making enough money. But Harlan Sanders, not taking no for an answer, refuses to quit, keeps running his motel and his restaurant business, but also takes a job in Tennessee, which is nearby at a place called Oak Ridge, because the government has thrown up some new facility where they're making something, and they need somebody to come in and run all the cafeterias to feed the workers, and he oversees the cooking of 36,000 meals a day to feed all of these people working at this secret government facility. Does that through the rest of World War II. When World War II ends, that job kind of comes to an end. They no longer need this factory for whatever reason, so he goes back to his hotel and restaurant, which everything's fine now because they're no longer rationing gas and tires and people are traveling again. And later we would find out that the Oak Ridge facility in Tennessee is where they refined all the plutonium for the Manhattan Project, which we use to nuke Japan, which makes it kind of awkward that it's a Christmas tradition in Japan to order KFC, but whatever. So comes back home, starts running his restaurant and hotel full time, hires a new female employee, starts having an affair on his wife with her. Her name is Claudine Price. Shortly after that affair, he divorces his wife, marries her instead in 1947. Then in 1952, he meets another wealthy restaurant owner from Salt Lake City, Utah by the name of Pete Harmon. Pete Harmon tries his fried chicken and he's like, holy shit, this stuff is awesome. Can I franchise this? I'll buy the secret blend of herbs and spices from you. You don't got to give me the secret. I'll just buy it straight from you. Show me how to do this with a pressure cooker, and I want to sell it in my restaurants in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'll give you 4 cents for every piece of chicken that we sell. Colonel Sanders is like, sure, why not? So that's what happens. Pete Harmon starts selling Sanders chicken in his restaurants, and he needs to brand it somehow, so he's from a different part of the country, so he names it Kentucky Fried Chicken and gives it the slogan, finger licking good. And Harlan doesn't really see the potential in it. He just kind of treats it as like, passive revenue that this guy's mailing him a check every month and just keeps running his restaurant and motel. And then his chicken becomes like kind of famous in the area. It's getting some notoriety, and the governor of Kentucky makes him a Kentucky colonel, which is like this honorary status in the state of Kentucky. And he's like, cool, that's great, whatever. So now he's Colonel Sanders. And then around the same time, he also started a side business where he was a midwife. I told you the story was weird. Yeah, he's just going around rural Kentucky as fucking Colonel Sanders, the chicken guy, helping people deliver babies. We don't know much about it other than the fact that it happened and he delivered at least 8 kids, and one of them ended up getting named after him. When he was later interviewed and asked, like, how did you become a midwife? What training do you have? How did you even know how to do this? He simply replied, and I quote, "Oh, I know a little about it." Apparently, if you've seen enough vaginas, you just kind of know what you're doing, I guess. You can put stuff in one, you can pull stuff out of one. That makes sense, right? I guess.
Checks out.
One of his personal acquaintances later in life actually joked that he got involved in being a midwife because he was concerned that the kids were his. Which brings me to his next side gig that he started after being a midwife, which was being a vampire hunter. No, I'm just kidding, but the fact that you believe me for a second speaks volumes about this guy. Buh! Are you going to talk about his pet crow? Buh! God, fine. Okay, look, Colonel Sanders has plenty of character flaws. However, there is a multiple humongous myths on the internet that he was like a prolific racist, ranging from he was a member of the KKK, which is not true, to he stole the secret blend of herbs and spices from his house servant when he was a child, which also isn't true. The dude grew up extremely poor. He didn't have servants in his house in the 1800s. And then there's a myth that he had a pet crow in his original restaurant, and the pet crow's name was Jim. Get it? Jim Crow in the South in the 1950s? No, that never happened. I have searched and scoured. There is no historical evidence to actually prove this. There's just a bunch of blog posts dating back to the early 2000s that insinuate this shit. That's where it all started from. I'm 99% sure. If on the off chance chance you have some historical evidence, let me know in the comments down below. I'll pin the comment if I'm wrong, but I highly doubt it. Colonel Sanders, deeply flawed, cheats on his wife, anger issues, not some crazy prolific racist, however. But that's not going to stop karma from coming from him. So his restaurant and motel both burned down to the ground. Colonel Sanders, not taking no for an answer.
I heard those same rumors growing up. Like, you know, he stole like the recipe from like a black person. So it's good to know that, hey, you know, during all this like serious deep dive, all that was just base accusations that turns out to be not true. He was a poor dude that eventually learned how to cook, and his specialty was fried chicken. But those 11 herbs and spices still remains a mystery.
Rebuilds the restaurant, rebuilds the motel. Shortly after,
who knows that even is or is still currently using those particular spices for KFC to this day? Who knows if they actually are, given all the processed chemicals and all this other stuff in like America, and changing of certain equipment and all this other stuff over time, long after he had passed away. Who knows if they changed certain things where it probably tastes different today than it would have been during his heyday.
For that, it burns down to the ground again. Colonel Sanders and karma are now in a shootout, so he rebuilds the business a second time, and then the government comes in and reroutes the highway and completely shuts him out. That's it, game over. He goes out of business. He is 65 years old, and his only income is his Social Security check, and that's just not enough. And Colonel Sanders is like, not taking no for an answer. So he takes his pressure cooker and his secret blend of herbs and spices, throws it in the trunk. Claudine hops in the car with him, and he just goes from town to failing restaurant to failing restaurant, and is like, hey, would you like to be a KFC franchise, a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise? My chicken is so good, it will save your failing restaurant. And for the next 5 years, at 65 years old through 70 years old, he travels the country getting people to franchise his chicken. Him and his wife are literally sleeping in their car, and he's 65 to 70 years old the entire time. But during that 5 years, they get 200 people to franchise their chicken. 3 years after that, he's up to 600. Other things that happened during this time period. Him and Claudine go out to breakfast one morning at a diner while they're on the road trying to get chicken franchises, and he orders some eggs. The eggs roll up, they're not cooked right. He sends the eggs back. The chef says the eggs are cooked right and sends them back to him.
No, Colonel Sanders, you're wrong.
Colonel Sanders then proceeds to pick up the eggs, get out of the booth, walk into the diner's kitchen, and throw the eggs at the chef, at which point the chef rushes him with a kitchen knife, and Colonel Sanders, at the age of somewhere between 65 and 70, fends him off with a bar stool.
Medulla oblongata.
Another thing that happens during this time period is he's going to all these failing restaurants, and essentially they're just buying the chicken. They're not officially becoming KFCs yet. It's still mom and pop's diner, but they also sell Kentucky Fried Chicken there. And some of these restaurants are still failing, despite the fact they're now serving Kentucky Fried Chicken. So he hires a guy to help these restaurants out, to go in there and show them how to run a restaurant up to the Colonel's standard to help these businesses thrive. So that guy goes in there, fixes a bunch of KFCs, makes some profitable businesses. Colonel Sanders pays him a bunch of money. He turns around and uses that money to start his own chain of restaurants selling burgers, and that guy's name was Dave Thomas, and he named his burger chain after his daughter, Wendy.
Damn.
I told you it's a weird story, okay?
Wow. I was just thinking about, like, man, I wonder if he has something about Wendy's or all these, like, you know, fast food restaurants. So, yeah, I'm going to look through his channel to make sure, like, okay, I want to deep dive into Wendy's.
We're warned. Now, this is also the same time period where he starts really leaning into the Colonel Sanders persona that we know today. He starts marketing himself as Colonel Sanders. People start calling him and knowing him as Colonel Sanders. This is when he started wearing the white suit that we all know today, because his kitchens and KFCs were so cleanly that you could work in the back of the kitchen and not get food product all over you. This is when he started dyeing his mustache and goatee all white and kind of like amping up the Southern accent and the Southern gentleman persona. Then the business model kind of shifts from just franchising the chicken itself.
I'm just a simple country lawyer. He was actual lawyer for at least a brief period, so it all checks out.
And letting these random restaurants serve KFC to having a restaurant that was just what we know as today, a KFC, a place that just sells fried chicken. Keeps growing the company, has a ton of locations, and by 1964, he is 74 years old, and it's finally time for him to retire. People are wanting to buy the company. He doesn't want to sell the company because he knows they're going to fuck up the quality of his food. They're going to ruin it. He doesn't want to do it, but his family pressures him into it. He finally relents and sells KFC for $2 million, plus a deal to be a lifelong brand ambassador for $40,000 to $80,000 per year. Shortly after he sells the company goes public. As soon as they go go public. Now the company is more concerned about making a return investment for their shareholders than they are about putting out quality food. So they go in and just completely ruin the quality, just like he was concerned with. They quit using the pressure cookers and start using deep fryers. They go away from his original recipe and add extra crispy, which he was furious about and said was nothing more than a fried dough ball on top of a piece of chicken. And then this final straw was when,
just like I said, it was like over time, they probably would have changed it, and they did, and they did it really quick. Not too long after, the ink was drying from the deal. Crazy. So, a little warning for anybody who has like a, entrepreneurial idea, and you live long enough to make bank off of it, and someone wants to buy it off of you. Probably not a good idea to do it, because something will change that'll be not up to your standards. Similar to how that CEO for the Arizona Tea, he stayed fast on his stuff, just like with the owner, or at least the family of the original owner of the Chick-fil-A. Like, at the very least, make sure it stayed within the family. Matter of fact, Arizona Tea stayed pretty much within the family, so that way, all the stuff that you built upon, what made it so good, it stays consistent, even long after you would have passed away. It stays within your family, who will respect your wishes and maintain it. Now, it's a shame that Colonel Sanders' family didn't stay by him on that front. But more often than not, like with the Arizona Tea owner or the Chick-fil-A owner, their family maintain course, so that way their kingdom doesn't get abused. The kingdom they built with their blood, sweat, and tears. So if you have an idea of some kind of product or whatever the case may be, make sure that, long after you're elderly, or, long before you pass away, your family works within your company or business or whatever, and they understand how it needs to be done, and maintain course, and don't sell it, because the people you end up selling it to will not respect it, don't understand about working hard and building something from the ground up most of the time, and they will end up corrupting it because they will be too concerned about the almighty dollar. And it's just like how McDonald's is, when Kroc took over from the McDonald's brothers, he ended up just ruining it. It's a multi-billion-dollar franchise, but there was definitely a serious cost to that. And of course, the McDonald's family, it isn't getting the necessary royalties they should have gotten. I covered that in my review of The Founder last year, and I broke it down from the inaccuracies and the accuracies. And basically, even to this day, the families, aren't getting the necessary just due royalties from their ancestors started from.
And they changed the recipe to his gravy. He was absolutely furious. He went inside of a KFC, tasted this gravy for the first time, threw it on the floor, and said it was nothing more than wallpaper paste. They just mixed tap water and a bunch of starch together and called it gravy.
I'm really sorry. Yeah. Well, hey, I'm really sorry too.
Colonel Sanders then proceeds to spend the rest of his life until he's 90 years old talking so much shit about KFC ruining his recipes, they had to sue him to get him to stop. He was a royal pain in the ass for KFC until he passed away from pneumonia at the age of 90. And that is the story of Colonel Sanders. Yes, he was real. Yes, all of that is true. Is he a good role model? Probably not, but you have to admire his ability to push through adversity and not take no for an answer. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some.
Man, that was fun. That was a fun little info about Colonel Sanders. Yeah, but I'm curious about Wendy's. I'm pretty sure he has something about Wendy's that I can do a reaction to. But man, what the actor that he looks like, golly, is gonna bother me because I don't know the actor's name, And I know I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, and he usually plays like a bad guy. What was it? Character actors that play bad guys. Okay, what is the character actors that play villains? I know he because it's literally gonna bother me. So, um, not it. Sorry. God, it's like that's not it. I know he's like an older gentleman. I know that, but not crazy old. Well, maybe by this point he should be, but Ah, I think I found him. Is he this? Brad Dourif? I don't know. He's in Lord of the Rings Two Towers. I'm not sure. I think that's who I'm talking about. Brad Dourif. I think that's him. Kind of looks like a young Colonel Sanders. I think that is it. Just double checking it, you know, because. I just want to 100% sure because, like, I don't know, you can. God, like, I think Brad Dourif. Sorry, it's just like cause I'm that might be it. Brad Dourif. I just want to just making sure I go through it correct. Billy Drago. William Forsythe is pretty close too. William Forsythe. That's like, go ahead. But no. Hold on. What was that other one? At the Brad that I said. Billy Drago. No, he's good, but that's no, nowhere near close. No. Because I want to show you guys the pictures of what I'm talking about, because it looks pretty close. Still not getting it. Because he has that kind of the mouth area. It seems like it's like kind of stretched. That's what I'm thinking of. Golly. Not Kristen Grover, no. Man, it's a lot of people. I don't want to sit there and hold you guys up. It's just like, I don't know. Like pull up my thing here. Hold on. Like Brad kind of looks like a young Colonel Sanders. It's like let me pull up like a young. Like I know, like somebody out there will know, like an actor that look pretty close to like this. It's just the mouth areas was and the eyes kind of giving it. You know, it was like God, like no homo, but it's just like God, like what's because Brad Dourif kind of, William Forsythe kind of. Golly. Because I know somebody after who's seen this can like help me out here. Because golly, it's like an actor that got that face. He's a character actor. He's on the older side. Golly. I'm pretty sure he's like acted with Jackie Earle Haley before. Like, I'm pretty sure he like acted with him or something. Maybe. Golly. Have like an image of the movie in my mind that he's in. God, what is it? God, what is it? He's like balding, like you know, gray hair just kind of falling in the back of his head. He's balding up here. Golly. I just can't picture the freaking movie. Because I know at some point I'm going to see it and I'm going to kick myself because I couldn't bring it up here. Golly. I know the movie he was some kind of scientist or doctor. And yeah, he was a doctor. Or at least a mad scientist, some kind of thing like that. Like that's what I'm picturing. Crap. What's it? Because I'm certainly curious if like I typed it in like actors who played scientists, but that's gonna probably be a lot. Oh, I know it is. I know what it is. Oh my god, I know what the movie that I was thinking of. Senseless with Martin. Like, oh my god, now I know. Oh god, thank you, brain. It was, you know, that was kind of like senseless. Yeah. Cast. Hold on. Oh god. Yeah, it was Brad Dourif. Thank you. I know it was like wasn't crazy. That was what I was thinking of. Brad Dourif. I was like, I knew I had it right. Oh god, it's like God. He was like, it was like, yeah. It took a minute. I was like, I knew it was like, consider myself like Brad Dourif. Was like, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think like that I was thinking of. Yeah, Brad Dourif a little bit. Golly. Oh, sorry. It was gonna bother me. This was literally bothering me. I didn't figure it out. Oh god. Brad Dourif, like a young Colonel Sanders, like a little bit in the face. Oh golly. Sorry, I just had to figure it out because it was just like, it was kick me in the pants. It was like I end this video without thinking of it. Oh god. Sorry. Longer than it needed to be. It should have been finished like at least 10 minutes ago. But let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about the real life history of Colonel Sanders. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.